Welcome into the double FU, the FU times two. I am Jeremy Schulman at FF_Rebel. This is Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05. We are here to talk wide receivers for week 7. We're going to go through Jesse's rankings, talk about hits, misses, guys who are back in like Malik Neighbors, guys who are definitely probably most likely out like Chris Olave, who I'm currently trying to trade for in a dynasty league right now. Jesse, how's it going for you? Week 7 wide receivers. How you feeling?
Feeling okay about the wide receivers. There's a lot of guys moving around. We got 2 big shakeups with Cooper and Adams, right? So that's changing a lot of things and how that impacts each of those teams. So yeah, it's interesting to see looking at rankings kind of to adjust on the fly as we are talking. So my rankings might be updated as we are mentioning these guys in certain spots. So stay tuned, folks.
Speaking of Davante Adams, we know is in a new place. He's the same old face, seeing the same old face of Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So he will be a lot higher up our rankings this week than he has the last few weeks when he hasn't been playing at all. So let's get into the wide receiver ranks and talk about who you have in the top few here. Some of the usual suspects. We start with Justin Jefferson at number 1, Jamar Chase at 2, A.J. Brown at 3, and let's throw in Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4. These are the guys you expect at the top. What do you like about them this week?
Yeah, they're some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and like in particular, Jefferson gets the Lions defense, who has been atrocious. And I wouldn't rank anyone else like Jefferson's wide receiver 1 this week by far. His projected receiving line is pushing 100 yards, so he's well up there. I expected them to cook. Chase's role is interesting. He's vastly out. He's similar to Derrick Henry, vastly outproducing his role. Like his role is fine, but he's just being a beast. That's kind of Jamar Chase, what he does. And then, yeah, A.J. Brown is back in our lives. He's healthy. He gets a suspect Giants defense. I love that. And then Amon-Ra, he's like the target hog. I'm actually debating pushing Drake London in the top 4 because Seahawks defense right now. With Drake London kind of playing that slot role, I think I might put him 4. But he's in that top tier for me as well.
Yeah, I love Drake London. He is my number 4 this week already. Why you copying me, Jesse? Why you copying me? Moving on. We'll go outside the top 4. We'll talk about my number 1 wide receiver this week, Malik Neighbors at 5, Chris Godwin at 6, Drake London at 7. There's a lot to talk about, so let's just stick with these 3 names here. What do you like about Neighbors, Godwin, and London this week?
Neighbors has like literally the best role in the NFL. It's him and Cooper Kupp. And we might get both of them back this week. I don't know. But it seems much more likely that we're at least getting Neighbors back because he's already practiced. Cooper Kupp's kind of playing limited, so we'll see. But yeah, like that offense flows through Malik Neighbors, and I get it. Like he's the slot merchant, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, man. You move him all around the field. He's a mismatch everywhere he goes. And Philadelphia's pass defense is #not good. So yeah, I'm fired up Malik Neighbors everywhere. It's just the first week back, so I don't know if he's going to get all 100% of the routes, but I think he's going to be very close to it. So just knock him down a little bit, but yeah, it's not like you're benching him anywhere. Godwin gets the Baltimore, and we know Baltimore's defense. I might need to move Evans up a little bit because they struggle more against outside. And like slot, it's just like their pass defense is not good. They're very much kind of a pass funnel because they're really good against the run. They struggle against the pass. So like both Evans and Godwin should have really, really good weeks. I'm looking at Evans. He's too low in rankings. I need to push him up. But yeah, like Godwin's just awesome in his role. He's just the slot merchant, and he's finally back to being what he was back in the 2019 years where he was the wide receiver 2. Like this is the Chris Godwin we're getting this year. So I love both of those guys.
Yeah, same. Godwin 8, Mike Evans 7 for me this week. So those guys are going to crush. Drake London against Seattle. Oh my God. I mean, he's just been an absolute animal on a tear. He's my wide receiver 4 this week. Just a quick one about Drake London. He's seen 9. We'll start from week 3. 9, 12, 13, and 10 targets over the span. He's scored in 4 of his last 5 games. He has gone over 60 yards in each of the last 4 games. Against Tampa, he went for 154 yards. Absolute animal. He's just eating up and soaking up the targets over there. Everybody's eating in Atlanta right now, and the wide receiver 2 and 14 the last 2 weeks. So Drake London, I think, continues his onslaught, like you mentioned.
Awesome. He's been awesome, man.
Yeah. Moving on, we have number 8, one of my favorite guys, for sure, one of your favorite guys, DK Metcalf comes in at 8, Jaden Reed at 9, Deontay Johnson, if he plays, at 10, and Steph Diggs at 11. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's fun with this group of wide receivers in general. Like, I'll just hit on DK Metcalf for a second. He was so close last, like, so freaking close to hitting. Like, he missed the toe out. They had a touchdown called back. Like, I know DeAndre Lemon or whatever his name is for San Francisco said he just like put him in a box or whatever. And I was like, actually, like you should have got destroyed in that game. They just couldn't miss. DK Metcalf,
11.
wide receiver 1, dude.
11 targets last week. 11. Only caught 3 of them. Crazy.
Yeah, like the target rate is not like exceptional. It's just they pass a ton, so it kind of boosts him, right? He's still in that career like 24% target rate, really good, but it's not like Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors type stuff. But they pass over 700 times, like they're on pace to pass over 700 times a game this year, or times this year. So yeah, you love DK Metcalf in this matchup against Atlanta. It's a super high projected total. Both these quarterbacks should cook. So yeah, I love DK Metcalf this week.
Yep, absolutely. We round it out with Terry McLaurin in the top 12 at number 12 against Carolina. Oh my God, he's going to absolutely go bonkers. Mike Evans at 13, Debo at 14 against Kansas City, Zay Flowers at 15, and we'll sneak in Devonta Smith against the Giants at 16, 2 top 16 wide receivers in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not love that, right? Like it's just going to be wide receivers doing their thing. So I think I moved Evans up to 9 because I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, he deserves to go higher. He's really good.
Yep.
Deontay is TBD on if he's playing, so I'm waiting to see. He basically did not practice the second time in a row. So if he's out, that really hurts that entire offense. But like with McLaurin, you know what you're getting. Like against the Carolina defenders, good luck. That's not going to work out. They're probably going to hit some deep bombs in that game. And like Zay Flowers in particular, like I love Zay Flowers' role. He's the one guy pass catcher that offense has been consistently, and they're elevating his role to be kind of similar to a wide receiver 1. We were worried maybe they were going to get Adams or one of those guys. They didn't. So I think Zay Flowers is very safe as like a borderline high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 each week for you.
Yep, I love it. And I have Terry McLaurin at wide receiver 5 this week. Going to absolutely crush Zay. Love all these calls here. And Mike Evans definitely moving on up. We're going to 17 with T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, New York Jet at 18. Brandon Ayuk at 19 and Garrett Wilson hanging on at 20. 2 Jets in the top 20. Talk to me.
Yeah, I also snuck Mooney into the rankings and Devontae Adams. So those are like 18, 19, those guys splitting the difference between that group. Because I was looking at it and I was like, we got to fix some of this stuff. But yes, like we love the Jets this week. I get it. The Pittsburgh defense is good. They got Joey Porter Jr., a couple other guys, but like you're getting a floor raising wide receiver and also raises the ceiling. So it helps out Rodgers and it helps out Garrett Wilson. Like both of those guys should be very good. Wilson's not going to see the insane freaking target share he's seen, but he's going to be much more efficient in his role because like you can move him around a lot field. You can play some more slot. Adams is kind of going to be posted up at X and he's going to move around. But yeah, like you're giving Aaron Rodgers one of the best wide receivers and the connection between those two is absurd. So for the time being, I'm going to have Adams above Wilson, but I like both of those guys as top 20 wide receivers the rest of the year. Mooney, like Seattle's defense, I think Tariq Woolen might be out, so good luck to Seahawks defense. There's going to be maybe 400 yards from Kirk Cousins in this game passing. It's just going to be absurd. And if Cooper Kupp plays, you know what you're getting out of Cooper Kupp against the Vegas, like just 20 targets, just fired up. Let's go.
Yeah. And if there's anyone, I don't know if there is, but if there's anyone in your league who thinks Garrett Wilson is not worth what Garrett Wilson is worth, and that's definitely a mid-range, I'd say, wide receiver 2 rest of season at least with boom week potential. Go out and get him. Both of these guys are going to go off, and that schedule is juicy. Rounding out the top 24, you got Cooper Kupp at 21, Tyreek Hill at 22, Brian Thomas Jr. at 23, and Tank Dell at 24. All of these guys, depending on your build, could be a team's wide receiver 1 for fantasy. What are you thinking about these guys here as back-end wide receiver 2 this week?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Brian Thomas Jr. because he gets Christian Gonzalez, who is one of the better young corners in the NFL. So kind of got to lower him. Like Tyreek Hill, you know what the issue is with Tyreek Hill. It's that offense. Tyler Huntley, they're projected for like 183 passing yards. You put Tyreek Hill because of the talent, and hopefully hits a big play for you, but the floor is lower. I'm looking like I need to adjust my rankings on Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell's role week 1 post, Nico Collins was really good, so I need to put them close together. And I might actually put I might put Tank above Stephon Diggs this week, but we'll see. I like Stephon Diggs matchup, so he should be higher. Yeah, I like this group of players. There's some knocks on a few of them, so that's why they're a little bit lower.
Yeah, love Tank this week and going forward. Hopefully he is completely healthy and beyond whatever he was dealing with early in the season. We'll have to see it probably one more week here, but he is getting targeted. 25, Jameson Williams. We already talked about Darnell Mooney, so he's moved up. 27, Jordan Addison. and JSN at 28. So we got JMO, Addison, and JSN. What do you like about these guys this week?
Yeah, these are all like kind of the ancillary pass catchers in their teams, right? They're not the first option. They're the second or maybe the third option. They all have really good, like high scoring projected totals in these games. Each one of these games is 50+ point total. So, Jameson Williams, all he needs is one touch. Like he can give you freaking 17 fantasy points on one touch every time. Like it's nuts. Jordan Addison is just a good NFL wide receiver. And because he has Justin Jefferson, makes his life so much easier. It's similar to Juju playing with Antonio Brown for those first couple of years. Everything is much easier because the defense shifts their entire coverage to Justin Jefferson. Doesn't matter. Justin Jefferson's incredible, but it helps out Jordan Addison because you cannot focus on Jordan Addison if you have Justin Jefferson on the field. You can't do it. And then JSN, I want to see a little bit more because his like targets per out run, everything is very similar to year one. Yep. The ADOT's a little bit farther down the field, but we need to see a boost because like it just feels like it's not fully coming together for him. Maybe it'll come on in the second half of the year, but like he's kind of falls into this wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range, which is good because they're passing enough. But if the pass volume comes down, then it becomes a little bit of a worry for him.
Yeah, and you definitely want him to go out there and earn targets, but Tyler Lockett is still looking pretty good out there. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's super concerning that JSN can't beat out Tyler Lockett at this stage in his career, or that Tyler Lockett is still this good at his stage in this career, or a little bit of both. So we'll have to see. Jury's still out on JSN. But yeah, I think Jordan Addison and all the guys in Minnesota are going to look much better against Detroit than whatever the Dallas Cowboys were throwing out there last week. That was pretty horrific. 29, you got Amari Cooper, Ladd McConkey at 30. We love Ladd. Juju Smith-Schuster, who was limited at practice today at 31. Wan'Dale Robinson at 32. George Pickens at 33. Josh Downs at 34. That's 6 guys, including one that has moved teams. What do you like about Amari and the rest here?
I'm willing to take a gamble on Amari because he was just not good this year and it had not worked out. If you looked at kind of like, I think the ESPN open score, he was like bottom 3. Yeah. Part of that's the offense and how inefficient Deshaun Watson was. I think he will bounce back and be better, but this is why he's a little bit lower in rankings, just because I want to see it with Amari Cooper. And he could absolutely go off in this matchup. Yeah. The problem is Tennessee's defense is still good and they suffocate the pass, so we will see how this goes. I'm not sure if it's going to work out for him, but I'm willing to put him here. Ladd McConkey, he's just awesome. He's just dealing with an injury. Juju Smith's also dealing with an injury. Josh Downs is dealing with an injury. So there's a lot of injuries in this group, so I'm kind of not going to be too high on one of them. But yeah, I love Ladd's role. They just need to pass more. Juju, you saw it like 2 weeks ago. Like Juju was very much a focal point. He's like 80% Rashee Rice, and if you're attached to Patrick Mahomes, like that's good enough for wide receiver 2 numbers. Wan'Dale, just a target hog. The Philly matchup could be a little bit tough, but on the flip side, getting Malik Neighbors, you just pull him down a little bit. And George Pickens, it's boom bust with George Pickens. Like going in, like he could have 20 points, he could have 2. Like you kind of just have to live within this range.
Yeah, love all those players. Love Josh Downs. I'm not sure that he takes much of a hit with Flacco going to the bench. We'll see if that actually materializes, unlike last week where all of a sudden there was a setback and A-Rich was benched. So, I expect the Colts want to win, especially against a down Miami team. We'll see if it's Flacco or A-Rich, but Josh Downs should be good as well. At 35, you have Xavier Worthy, 36, Romeo Dobbs, 37, Demario Douglas, 38, Christian Kirk, and 39, maybe he plays Jacoby Myers. Here are 5 guys here, a rookie, a second-year guy who pops, and then a bunch of sometimes dust, sometimes they have plenty of opportunity guys here.
Yeah, it gets a little dicey in this range. I still like Xavier Worthy. I get it. The metrics and everything are not being great for target earning, but on his per target basis, he's been efficient. You just kind of want to see that second half of the season kick post by for Xavier Worthy, and then more integrate him into the passing attack because his skill set's not really to be this really deep threat in the NFL. Like you saw in college, he was super inefficient in that role, and it did not work out. I mean, he has Mahomes, so maybe this could all work out. I would love to see them integrate him, taking some of Juju's role. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I want to see with him. With like Douglas, he's the wide receiver 1 against Jacksonville. I think he could be he's a good floor play for you. The ceiling's not usually there for Demario Douglas, but the floor is going to be there until another wide receiver steps forward. So I'm fine. Kirk is like good. And yeah, Myers dealing with an injury. I just moved Lockett a spot above him, but like he's the wide receiver 1. He's going to be targeted heavily. Him and Brock Bowers are even the only 2 guys that offense flows through. So I'm fine with him as a top 40 option.
Crazy. Jacoby Myers, I worry about him being able to work open. especially with the injury. If he plays, he probably gets a down tick for me, even in a good matchup. But then Kansas City the following week could prove difficult. Not a great schedule the rest of the way, but not terrible. I think will be a little bit more boom bust. Wide receiver 40, Cortland Sutton, who continues to, make incredible contested catches. Michael Pittman, 41, Tyler Lockett, 42, Jalen Waddle, 43. Let's talk about these guys, and let's throw Christian Watson in there at 44.
Yeah, we saw Christian Watson come back last week. It was like, hey guys, I'm still a good NFL wide receiver. So we were hoping for Dontavian, my boy Dontavian. It's he's see you later, Dontavian. He's dealing with an injury. It looks like it's gonna be a month-long thing because week to week I treat it as a month. So yeah, Christian Watson, he's got the potential. He's also questionable tag. So Christian Watson's always dealing with injuries, what it is. Waddle, it's just so hard to start the secondary option with any other quarterback until Tua gets back. So he just unfortunately, man, he's just a low floor, and I really don't want to play Jalen Waddle. Pittman, I'm intrigued by because I don't know what's going on with his injury situation, but he's got no tag right now, so I'm assuming he's playing in Josh Downs. It's hard to figure out. If one of them misses time, I'm going to boost the other one up. But I just think Downs is the better wide receiver, and he's been more featured in that offense, and I think his skill set just works well, so I like him. And Sutton, Bo Nix, their skill sets don't match very well. Sutton's continually just going above and beyond to kind of hit fantasy points. So I like Sutton. I don't know how well it's going to work out for Bo Nix. It's kind of the similar. He's the expected points king, and then fantasy points don't live up to it. So it's kind of just the roll's good. Maybe it'll hit for you, but yeah, he's got to do a lot of stuff week in and week out.
Yeah, even scoring a touchdown last week, he was just the half PPR wide receiver. 22 was Cortland Sutton. So he just doesn't put up the stats that you need him to. If he doesn't score a touchdown, it's a problem weekly. And then kind of to round out the list, we got Xavier Legette at wide receiver 45, Trey Tucker at 46, Jerry Jeudy at 47, and Michael Wilson, who is now questionable for some reason, at 48. Kyler may have no one to throw to here, but at least if Michael Wilson is on the field, he should see some targets.
Oh, we're about to get dorch pilled again. With Wilson, you just want him to be healthy because you're getting a chance to be a focal point without Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. We'll see if that sticks or not. The Chargers defense has some good pieces, so I'm a little bit worried about him, and I think he's just okay wide receiver. But yeah, with Jeudy, it's another guy, target vacuum. You expect him to do it, but he's never really been a targeter, so that's why he kind of falls into this range of very boom bust. I like Trey Tucker because he's the explosive element in that passing attack. So he's the type, it's similar like Jameson Williams. You expect him to break a big play if it's going to happen. So that's why he kind of falls in this ranking. Legette's a rookie, man. And I get it with Carolina, Deontay Johnson's that deal with that injury. So they might feature Legette a little bit more. So I don't mind taking the shot on Legette in a really good matchup against the Washington defense that has struggled throughout the season.
Yeah. And especially because Deontay Johnson isn't going to play. Legette is a good play. But if Deontay Johnson were going to play and you wanted to go see him play live, you might go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code FFUniverse for $20 off your first order. Or you might just go without Deontay Johnson playing. Hopefully he's not out for too long. Any final thoughts on the wide receivers this week, Jesse?
No, I mean, there's a couple of guys you can make the case for well down below. If you really want to do the Lazard or Khalil Shakir, Quentin Johnson. Rashad Bateman's the one that stands out to me. He's finally kind of showing that first round talent that we've been waiting for, and he's dealing with injury. So, yeah, maybe Rashad Bateman's if you're desperate and you need a flex play, I don't mind throwing a dart Rashad Bateman against the $10 bucks.
Excellent. Okay, so we are the Fantasy Football Universe. You can find us everywhere. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're in those Reddit streets. We're at fantasyfootballuniverse.com. We're on YouTube, most importantly. Come find us, subscribe if you like this content. If not, subscribe anyway. It helps us, and we appreciate you. So for Jesse, I am Jeremy, and if I can figure out how to hit the outro, then we're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to end it now, and we will